Alright there guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're talking about the fact that Konosuba is finally back. You may have forgotten, but it's been 7 years since season 2 of Konosuba aired. The first 2 seasons of the show aired in 2016 and 2017. That's how long ago it was since we last had a regular full season of Konosuba. In between that, we've had the movie from 2019 and then the Megumin prequel series from last year. But yeah, 2017 was the last time we had a full regular season of Konosuba. And the biggest compliment I can give to it before we get into what happens is it doesn't feel like these 4 characters have been away for 7 years. In terms of a fully fledged season of the show, it doesn't feel like they've been away for 7 years, but they have. So, let's get into what happens in season 3 of Konosuba. At the time of recording, only the first 6 episodes of the show have released. By the time this video goes up, episode 10 will be releasing today, I'm pretty sure. But yeah, we're only going to cover the events of the first 6 episodes. So, to begin with, Kazuma has some form of PTSD if anybody goes up behind him and touches him, due to the events of the Konosuba movie when he was being held up by Sylvia and a certain pointy thing down there was going into his ass. If you've watched the movie, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But Kazuma does get over his PTSD of that very thing by the end of the episode. But does this mean that the movie is now canon in the story because events from the movie were being referenced at the beginning of season 3? I'm not sure. But with Aqua, her main role of season 3 is to get absolutely smashed out of her face on the bubbly. That's pretty much all Aqua does in season 3. And it fits right at home with her useless goddess character. Our four characters are going about their lives as usual until some royalty from their world actually travels to the town of Axel, and it's a little girl by the name of Princess Iris. And Kazuma, being Kazuma, decides to basically show off, as he does, going on about how he took down so many of the Devil King's generals and his armies, which actually impresses Princess Iris, and she says, can Kazuma tell her more of these stories? Before she'd arrived, the only person that was actually acting normal was Darkness. That's when you know it must be serious. When Darkness is the voice of reason. She's never the voice of reason. But Princess Iris asks Kazuma, can he tell her more of these stories in the future? He, of course, agrees, but he wasn't expecting that she'd basically take him back to her castle there and then. Pretty much straight away. Kazuma gets taken back to the capital with Princess Iris, and throughout the next episode or two, Kazuma and Princess Iris develop this really, really wholesome big brother, little sister bond between them, whilst Kazuma is at the castle. The best way I could describe Princess Iris is she's someone that you just want to hold and protect from all the bad things. Her and Kazuma have an extremely wholesome relationship between them. And while Kazuma's staying at the castle, a couple of times throughout different nights, Chris turns up as she's looking to steal something. Unfortunately for her, she keeps getting caught by Kazuma. But Chris tells Kazuma about a specific treasure that lies within this very castle. What she was actually referring to is a necklace that Princess Iris has on her, as that is actually a special item that can do something. But it's not until quite a bit later on that the thing that her necklace can do actually gets put into action. Megumin, Darkness, and Aqua finally get over to the capital because they want to know what the hell Kazuma is doing without them. And the same night they arrive, the Devil King sends one of his armies to attack the capital and the castle. Because of all the BS Kazuma told Princess Iris earlier, she expects that he will fight off the Devil King's armies with all of her soldiers. Now that was the plan, but putting the plan into motion doesn't quite go as well. And in typical Konosuba comedic fashion, Kazuma gets killed by the Devil King's army. So he ends back up in the heavenly realm that he ended up in at the very beginning of the show when he died in the real world. And the person that took over Aqua's job when he first died allows him to be revived because he was explaining that he wanted to look good in front of Princess Iris. She lets him off with that and revives him. Then they finally test out the necklace that Princess Iris always has on her. Turns out, the necklace is a special item that can make two people switch bodies. Basically, Captain Ginyu's body change technique from Dragon Ball. Pretty much that. At which then Kazuma and Princess Iris swap bodies. So now Kazuma is inside of Princess Iris's body and she is inside of his body. Princess Iris, being a princess, never gets to do anything on her own. She never gets to go anywhere on her own and actually experience life without having so many people around her. So, while she is in Kazuma's body, she goes out exploring with the rest of the gang, and Kazuma gets to gets to know what it feels like to be a princess. It's the comedy that just works so perfectly in Konosuba that Kazuma is going to try and get away with absolutely anything that he can now that he's inside of Princess Iris's body. Unfortunately, it doesn't go well for either of them. Kazuma ends up being figured out that it's actually not Princess Iris, and Princess Iris in Kazuma's body gets punched in the face really, really hard. Because she doesn't understand how life in the real world works, because the fact that she's a princess and she's always got guards and servants around her, and she's never allowed to do anything on her own. They switch back their bodies later on, and then Kazuma knows he's going to be getting kicked out of the capital the following morning. But just before that, Chris turns up again and tells Kazuma that the body switching necklace, basically when the person has been, if you switch bodies with someone, if one of those two people who have switched bodies dies before they switch back, then it becomes permanent. So, for example, if Kazuma and Megumin switched bodies, and then Megumin died in Kazuma's body, it would mean Kazuma would forever be inside of Megumin's body. Which is probably a good thing in his mind. He'd probably quite enjoy that. So Kazuma and Chris put on disguises as they sneak in and try to steal the necklace. It doesn't go entirely to plan, but no one seems to realise that Kazuma is one of the thieves trying to steal the necklace. Megumin thinks he's a badass because she doesn't know it's Kazuma. Darkness doesn't know it's Kazuma, and Aqua doesn't know it's Kazuma, but she's drunk, so there's no point asking her. So Kazuma and Chris end up jumping out of straight through the top window of the castle into the water that surrounds the castle, and they didn't quite succeed in acquiring the body switching necklace, but Kazuma did end up taking something else, a very important possession of Princess Iris's. It is a ring that she has worn on her pinky finger the entire time we've seen her, and it's something that's very special and important to her, and Kazuma ended up taking it. He's thinking of giving it back, but Darkness tells him there is no way in hell he can do that. Take that to your grave if you have to. But Princess Iris seems to know that Kazuma has it anyway, even though no one told her. She just knows. And that pretty much covers everything that Konosuba Season 3 has at the moment. There's still 4 more episodes, at least, to go, and all 4 of those episodes will have been released by the time this video goes up. Well, episode 10 releases later on today. But yeah, that is Konosuba Season 3 so far. I've thoroughly enjoyed it. As I said at the very beginning, it does not feel like it's been 7 years since we last had a full season of these characters going on their misadventures. It's just, you guys know, I don't like the isekai genre that much. I'm really not a fan of the genre at all. But Konosuba is the one isekai show that I will always have time for. It is by far my favourite isekai show. That's not saying much, I don't like many isekai shows. Yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed. If you have, please be sure to like, subscribe if you're new, and until we meet again, farewell.